Did you know that certain foods can actually promote cancer cell growth? Studies have shown that diets high in sugar and processed meats can create an environment that supports cancer proliferation. The food we eat and its potential link to cancer. It's a serious subject, but understanding it is the first step towards empowering ourselves to make healthier choices. Did you know that certain foods, some of which might be regulars in your diet, could actually be creating an environment in your body that promotes cancer cell growth? It's a sobering thought, isn't it? But knowledge is power, and that's what we're all about here at HealthQuest. Giving you the information you need to take control of your well-being. We're not here to scare you, but to enlighten you. Recent studies and extensive research have increasingly highlighted the profound impact our dietary habits can have on our risk of developing various diseases, including cancer. It's not just about calories or weight management anymore. It's about the very specific compounds and nutrients, or lack thereof, in our food, and how they interact with our cells at a microscopic level. Think about it. Every bite you take is either fueling health or potentially contributing to dysfunction. Diets high in specific components, like excessive sugars or certain types of processed meats, have been scientifically shown to foster conditions that can support cancer proliferation. This isn't speculation, it's based on growing evidence from the medical community. In this video, we're going to explore 5 specific types of foods that have been flagged by research as potentially contributing to cancer growth. We'll break down the science in an easy-to-understand way, explaining why these foods are a concern and how they might be impacting your body. Our goal isn't to make you afraid of food, but to make you more aware and mindful of your choices. Understanding the link between diet and health is absolutely crucial, especially when it comes to a complex disease like cancer. It's about recognizing that what we consume daily plays a significant role in our body's internal environment and its ability to defend against disease. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer picture of which foods to be cautious about, and, more importantly, you'll feel equipped to make informed decisions that can positively influence your health trajectory. Remember, small changes in your diet can lead to significant long-term benefits. It's about progress, not perfection. So grab a healthy snack, maybe some berries or nuts, and let's get started on this journey to better understanding how we can eat our way to a healthier life and potentially reduce our cancer risk. Let's empower ourselves with knowledge together. All right, let's kick things off with our first category, processed meats. Now, what exactly falls under this umbrella? We're talking about meats that have been transformed through various methods like salting, curing, fermentation, smoking, or by adding chemical preservatives to enhance flavor or extend their shelf life. Common examples that probably come to mind are things like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, ham, deli meats like salami and bologna, and even some canned meats or meat-based sauces. These items are staples in many diets around the world, often prized for their convenience and taste, making them a frequent go-to for quick meals or savory additions. These processing methods aren't inherently new. Humans have been preserving meat for centuries as a means of survival, long before refrigeration was commonplace. Salting and smoking, for instance, were crucial for making meat last through lean times. However, modern industrial processing often involves a cocktail of additives and techniques that go beyond simple preservation. The primary goals are to achieve a specific taste profile, improve texture, extend how long the product can sit on a shelf or in your fridge, and often, to make the product more appealing to consumers. But it's precisely these modifications and additions that raise red flags from a health perspective, particularly concerning cancer risk. It's important to distinguish processed meats from fresh, unprocessed meats. When we talk about unprocessed red meat, like a fresh steak or ground beef that you cook at home, it's different from, say, a hot dog or a slice of bacon that has undergone significant alteration. The concern with processed meats isn't just about the meat itself, but what's done to it and added to it during the manufacturing journey from the farm to your plate. Our understanding of how these processing techniques impact the meat's chemical composition and, subsequently, our health, has evolved considerably with scientific advancements, leading to specific health advisories. So, as we delve deeper into this topic, remember that the term processed here signifies a substantial modification from its natural state, often involving chemicals that, while effective for preservation or flavor, can have unintended consequences for our bodies. We're going to explore exactly what those consequences are, focusing on the harmful chemicals that can form or be added during these processes, and how they might contribute to the development of cancer. Understanding this distinction is key to making informed choices at the grocery store and in your kitchen. Next up on our list of foods to be mindful of is sugar, particularly excessive intake of added sugars. Now, when we talk about sugars, it's important to understand that they come in various forms. We have simple sugars like glucose and fructose, which are found naturally in fruits and honey, and sucrose, which is table sugar, typically extracted from sugarcane or sugar beets. Our bodies actually need glucose. It's a primary source of energy for our cells, especially for our brain. So sugar itself isn't inherently evil, but the context and quantity matter immensely. The real issue arises when we consume too much sugar, especially added sugars. These are sugars and syrups that are put into foods and beverages during processing or preparation, or added at the table. This is different from the naturally occurring sugars found in whole fruits or dairy products, which often come packaged with beneficial fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Added sugars, on the other hand, provide calories but little to no nutritional value, which is why they're often referred to as empty calories. This excess can overwhelm our body's ability to process sugar efficiently and lead to a cascade of negative health effects. You might be surprised where these added sugars are lurking. Obvious sources include sugary drinks like sodas, fruit juices with added sugar, energy drinks, and of course candies, cakes, cookies, and ice cream. However, added sugars are also hidden in many savory processed foods that you might not expect, such as bread, breakfast cereals, even some marketed as healthy, yogurt, pasta sauces, salad dressings, ketchup, and barbecue sauces. It's incredibly easy to consume a large amount of added sugar without even realizing it, simply by eating a diet high in processed and packaged foods. This concept of empty calories is crucial because a diet high in added sugars often displaces more nutrient-dense foods. If a significant portion of your daily caloric intake comes from sugar, you're likely missing out on essential vitamins, minerals, fiber, and phytonutrients that are vital for maintaining good health and protecting against disease, including cancer. Over time, this pattern of high sugar intake and low nutrient density can contribute not only to weight gain, but also to a range of metabolic dysfunctions that create an environment where cancer may be more likely to thrive. All right, everyone. Welcome back to HealthQuest. Today, we're diving deep into our third category of foods to be mindful of when we're talking about cancer prevention, and that's refined carbohydrates. Now, I know carbs often get a bad rap, but it's crucial to understand that not all carbohydrates are created equal. When we talk about refined carbs, we're referring to grains and sugars that have been significantly processed from their original whole food form. Think about white bread, white rice, those delicious-looking pastries in the bakery window, many breakfast cereals that promise a quick start to your day, and even sugary drinks. The refining process strips away much of the beneficial fiber, essential vitamins, and important minerals, leaving behind a product that's quite different from what nature intended for us to consume. This alteration is key to why they can pose a problem for our long-term health. So, why are these refined carbohydrates so incredibly common in our modern diets? Well, there are a few reasons. Firstly, the refining process often extends the shelf life of products, which is a big plus for food manufacturers and can mean less food waste in some contexts. though at a nutritional cost. Secondly, many people find the texture and taste of refined carb products, like soft white bread or fluffy cakes, to be highly palatable. They offer a certain kind of immediate satisfaction. Food manufacturers have also become incredibly adept at using refined flours and sugars to create products that are convenient, affordable, and, let's be honest, often quite addictive. This widespread availability means we're constantly encountering them, from fast food restaurants to the aisles of our local grocery stores, making them an easy, often default choice in our busy lives. Now let's talk about what happens in your body almost immediately after you consume these refined carbohydrates. Because they've been stripped of their fiber and much of their original structure, they are digested and absorbed into your bloodstream very quickly. This rapid absorption leads to a swift spike in your blood glucose levels. Unlike whole grains, which contain fiber that slows down digestion and provides a more sustained release of energy, refined carbs offer a quick burst that often doesn't last. This is why you might feel a temporary energy high followed by a crash, and you might find yourself feeling hungry again sooner than you would after a meal rich in whole foods. We often refer to these as empty calories, because they provide energy but very little in terms of essential nutrients your body truly needs to thrive and protect itself. If we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, the prevalence of refined carbohydrates in our diets is a relatively recent phenomenon in human history. For the vast majority of our existence, our ancestors consumed carbohydrates in their whole unprocessed forms. Think fruits, vegetables, and whole grains when agriculture developed. The Industrial Revolution brought about significant changes in food processing technology, making refined grains and sugars much more accessible and affordable. This dietary shift, moving away from nutrient-dense whole foods towards more processed options, has had profound implications for public health, contributing to a rise in various chronic conditions, and as we'll explore, potentially increasing the risk factors associated with cancer development. Understanding this shift helps us appreciate why focusing on whole foods is so important. All right, team. Let's dive into our fourth major dietary concern when it comes to cancer prevention: trans fats. Now, you've probably heard this term thrown around a lot, often with a negative connotation, and for very good reason. Trans fats, specifically artificial trans fats, are created through an industrial process called partial hydrogenation of vegetable oils. This process changes the chemical structure of the fat, making liquid oils more solid, which extends shelf life and improves the texture of many processed foods. While small amounts of trans fats occur naturally in some animal products, it's these artificial trans fats, also known as partially hydrogenated oils or PHOs, that pose the most significant health risks, and are the ones we really need to be vigilant about in our modern diets. The initial appeal of trans fats for food manufacturers was undeniable. Imagine a fat that could make cookies crispier, crackers flakier, and allow products to sit on shelves for months without going rancid. It seemed like a win-win for both producers and consumers seeking convenience. However, as scientific understanding evolved, a much darker picture began to emerge. Researchers started to uncover the profound negative impacts these altered fats have on our cardiovascular system, and, increasingly, their potential role in promoting inflammatory processes that can contribute to cancer development. What was once hailed as a food technology marvel is now recognized as a significant public health concern, leading to widespread calls for its removal from our food supply. So, where are these sneaky fats lurking? Unfortunately, they can be found in a wide array of popular foods, particularly those that are highly processed. Think about many commercially fried foods like French fries or fried chicken, which often use partially hydrogenated oils for deep frying because of their stability at high temperatures. Baked goods such as cookies, cakes, pies, and pastries frequently contain trans fats to achieve a desirable texture and extend freshness. Even some margarines, shortenings, microwave popcorn, and non-dairy coffee creamers can be sources. It's crucial to become a food detective and scrutinize labels, as these fats can be hidden in places you might not expect, contributing silently to your daily intake if you're not careful. One of the trickiest aspects of avoiding trans fats is navigating food labeling. In many regions, food manufacturers are allowed to claim 0 grams of trans fat per serving if the amount is below a certain threshold, often 0.5 grams per serving. However, if you see partially hydrogenated oil listed in the ingredients, even with a 0 grams trans fat claim on the front, the product still contains trans fats. Consuming multiple servings of such products can lead to a significant intake of these harmful fats over time. This is why it's not enough to just glance at the nutrition facts panel. You absolutely must read the full ingredient list to truly understand what you're putting into your body. Our fifth and final category of foods to be cautious about in the context of cancer prevention involves artificial additives. This is a broad group of substances intentionally added to food to serve specific technological purposes during its manufacturing, processing, packaging, or storage. These can include artificial colors designed to make food look more appealing, artificial flavors to enhance or mimic natural tastes, artificial sweeteners to provide sweetness without calories, and preservatives to extend shelf life and prevent spoilage by inhibiting the growth of bacteria, molds, or yeasts. While some additives are derived from natural sources, many are synthesized chemically. The sheer number of artificial additives approved for use in food products globally is quite staggering, running into the thousands. Each of these substances has undergone some level of safety assessment before being approved, but the long-term effects of consuming a cocktail of these additives over many years are still not fully understood. Furthermore, the testing methodologies and standards can vary, and sometimes new research emerges that raises questions about the safety of previously approved additives. This complexity makes it challenging for consumers to navigate and for scientists to provide definitive, all-encompassing answers about every single additive on the market. Some common examples of artificial additives that have garnered attention and concern include certain artificial food dyes, such as tartrazine, yellow number 5, sunset yellow, yellow number 6, and allura red, red number 40, which have been linked to hyperactivity in some children and have been studied for other potential health effects. Preservatives like butylated hydroxyanisole, BHA, and butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT, are antioxidants used to prevent fats and oils from becoming rancid. But some animal studies have raised concerns about their potential carcinogenicity. Nitrates and nitrites, often used in processed meats as we discussed earlier, also function as preservatives and can form carcinogenic nitrosamines under certain conditions. Many additives are classified under the generally recognized as safe, GRAS status by regulatory bodies like the FDA in the United States. This designation means that based on historical use or available scientific evidence, the substance is considered safe by experts for its intended use in food. However, the GRAS system has faced criticism for potential loopholes, lack of rigorous review for some substances, and the possibility of conflicts of interest when industry-funded research plays a role in safety determinations. This underscores the importance of being an informed consumer and not blindly trusting that every additive is completely benign for everyone in all quantities. So, we've covered a lot of ground today, team, looking at 5 key types of foods and food components that you should seriously consider minimizing or avoiding to help reduce your cancer risk. We talked about processed meats and their link to harmful chemicals like nitrates and nitrites. We explored how excessive sugar intake can fuel inflammation and insulin resistance, creating an environment where cancer can thrive. We detailed how refined carbohydrates can cause rapid blood sugar spikes, potentially contributing to cancer cell proliferation. We unmasked the dangers of artificial trans fats, their role in chronic inflammation, and their association with increased cancer risk. And finally, we navigated the complex world of artificial additives and their potential carcinogenic effects. It's crucial to remember that building a diet that supports cancer prevention isn't just about avoiding these 5 culprits. It's equally, if not more, about actively embracing a wide variety of whole, nutrient-dense foods. Think of your diet as a powerful tool, a daily opportunity to nourish and protect your body. Fill your plates with colorful fruits and vegetables packed with antioxidants and phytonutrients. Choose whole grains over refined ones for sustained energy and fiber. Incorporate lean proteins, healthy fats from sources like avocados, nuts, and olive oil, and plenty of hydrating fluids. This holistic approach creates a foundation of health and resilience, making your body a less hospitable place for cancer to develop. I encourage you all to take a moment to reflect on your current eating habits. Are there any of these 5 food categories that feature prominently in your diet? Don't feel overwhelmed or discouraged if the answer is yes. The goal here isn't immediate perfection, but gradual, sustainable progress. Identify 1 or 2 small, manageable changes you can start making today. Maybe it's swapping out that sugary soda for water, choosing whole wheat bread instead of white, or reading labels more carefully to avoid trans fats and artificial additives. Every positive choice you make, no matter how small it seems, is a step in the right direction towards better health and a reduced cancer risk. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the foods we discussed today. What are your biggest concerns? Do you have any tips or healthy swaps that have worked for you? Please share them in the comments below. Let's learn from each other. And if you found this information helpful, I highly recommend you check out our other video on 10 cancer-fighting superfoods you should be eating for more positive dietary strategies. Thank you so much for watching, for taking the time to invest in your health. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to HealthQuest for more evidence-based health insights, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next upload. Stay healthy, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video.